Hey there, welcome to my channel. My name is Mallory and welcome to this video about what I'm doing differently with my second pregnancy. If you're new here, welcome to this channel. Like I said, my name is Mallory and I am a mom to a 15-month-old boy named Max, and I'm pregnant with our second boy, whose name we are not revealing yet until he's born. And I do videos about pregnancy and motherhood, how to have a healthy pregnancy and a healthy baby, cooking videos, that kind of stuff. So if you are interested in living a healthy lifestyle as a mom, then make sure to hit the subscribe button down below so that you will get notified. You gotta press that bell also so that you get notified of when I post a new video. So like I said, this is my second pregnancy. In many ways, it is very much the same as with my first pregnancy, but there are things that I have found myself doing differently. And I wanted to share that with y'all because maybe you're pregnant with your first child and it's just very confusing and you don't know what to expect, and that's just how it is with the first pregnancy. However, I think that if you look to videos like this, look to other moms who have been pregnant more than once, have more than one child, then you can gain some perspective in those hard days where you're like, oh man, I don't know what's around the next corner. It can be really helpful. And that's something that I did, is I watched other moms videos on YouTube when I was pregnant the first time and even before I was pregnant to get a good idea of what to expect. So what am I doing differently with my second pregnancy that I didn't do in my first? So the first thing is that I am worrying less. This doesn't mean I don't have anxiety. I have anxiety like outside of pregnancy worries. And yes, do I still have concerns? Yes, because I'm human. But I think because I know what to expect and my body has gone through a pregnancy before, I just have a little more confidence, I guess, just intrinsically. It's nothing that I've really put a lot of thought to or said, I'm intentionally not worrying as much this pregnancy. The second thing I'm doing differently is that I am more active. Now, this doesn't mean I'm like working out, because I'm not, except for walks. I guess you can kind of count that, but I'm not like on an exercise program or anything like that. It's just that pregnancy with a 1-year-old equals a lot of activity. You're constantly running around on your feet. We like to go outside almost every day and go on what I call toddler walks. So he walks. I have the stroller usually with us just in case he wants to ride, but he likes to push the stroller. And so we're always walking. And then in addition to that, we sometimes go on a family walk in the evening with him in the stroller, and it's, you know, more of like an adult power walk. And so I'm getting that kind of activity and exercise in as well. But yeah, when you have a 1-year-old that is constantly in need of things, you're just naturally on your feet more. And then like during naps, I don't always rest. And like I'm trying to get stuff done, like I'm doing this video and meal prepping, doing the dishes, stuff like that. Now, this isn't to say that I was a total bum when I was pregnant with Max. And we did have a German Shepherd at the time, and I would take her out for, you know, little walks and stuff. But I had the luxury of just resting and kicking back whenever I wanted to. And these days, I can't really do that all the time. So going along with that kind of same theme, a third thing that I'm doing differently is that I appreciate relaxation more because of what I just said. I don't have as much downtime, I don't have as much time to just like, oh, I'm feeling a little bit tired right now, I'm just gonna sit down and rest instead of doing what I planned on doing. If that happens, like during a nap, I have to choose whether or not I rest or I get stuff done. And sometimes I choose to rest. And I probably could be better about that, especially as I get into the third trimester. I am 24 weeks. So the third trimester is just about a month away. And I know, you know, as you get bigger, it's harder on your feet and you do have to sit down and rest a little more. So if you're in your second pregnancy, then you totally understand what I'm saying, especially if you have a toddler. It can be a little challenging. The fourth thing I'm doing is that I am eating a little healthier. With my first pregnancy, the morning sickness was worse, though it was not terrible. You know, I wasn't like throwing up every day and all that. But I did rely on carbs more, including processed carbs, which is not the best option, of course. I'm very into nutrition, and, you know, I knew that that wasn't the best choice, but to try to just get food into my body, sometimes that's what I did. However, with this pregnancy, right before I got pregnant, I was doing the AIP, or the autoimmune protocol, to help heal some autoimmune type issues I was dealing with postpartum after giving birth to Max. And that greatly helped me. It really helped reduce my symptoms. And then I became pregnant, and I did not continue that diet during pregnancy because it is very restrictive, and, you know, I started having cravings and aversions, and it would have just been very hard to stick to it. But I was already kind of in that groove and that mindset of like really focusing on whole food and that kind of stuff. And so I think I'm eating just a little bit healthier. Not that I ate really unhealthy with Max. It's just that my diet has just, you know, gone up a notch, as it should. As we go along in life, you know, we should continually get better. Is this the fifth thing? I think this is the fifth thing. The fifth thing I'm doing is that I am not tracking my pregnancy as closely. This mostly hinges on just not having the time, kind of going back to the third point. I just don't have the time to sit down and do weekly pregnancy updates like I did with Max. I am keeping a weekly journal. However, I oftentimes fall behind. More often than not, I'm a few days late, or like this past week for week 23, I have not finished filling it out, and I'll be week 24 tomorrow. So, and I'm not doing weekly chalkboard updates and taking a picture every week. You know, I'm just not doing those things, just because, one, of the time, and then two, going back to point number one, I'm just not as worried. Like, I know what's going to happen, and I kind of know the drill, I guess. And so it's not that I'm not as excited. It's just time. You know, you really have to be prioritize with your time in this situation. Also in that same vein, I forgot to mention, I'm not tracking my weight very closely. Like with Max, I was weighing myself almost every week, and I was measuring my belly almost every week. I have only occasionally taken my weight, which has followed about the same trajectory as with my first pregnancy. And I've only measured my belly one time at 17 weeks. So it's just not a priority. And in the end, those things are just kind of minor details. I mean, unless you're gaining like so much weight that it's like unhealthy, or you're not like gaining any weight at all, that might be an issue, but they say not always. Those things just really aren't that important. They're fun to track, but not a priority. And the sixth and final thing that I am doing differently with this pregnancy is that I am a little more concerned about my birth plan. And I don't want to say concerned in like a negative way. Like, I'm more, I guess maybe a better word would be intentional. I'm trying to be a little more intentional with my birth plan. If you've been around and have watched my previous videos, you will know that I have done a video about why I'm not making a birth plan, which you can find in the cards. I didn't make like a very strict birth plan. I made more like a list of birth wishes, and I just had a very like flexible mindset, I guess, which I think really played in my favor, because Max ended up being breech last minute and I needed a C-section, and it really worked out like that. Really, I had no idea that I was going to end up in a C-section. That was like really last minute, and like, okay, we have to do this. Like, it's, kind of urgent, but it really worked out. And so I'm really glad that I approached it that way for my first pregnancy. However, because I am going for a VBAC, vaginal birth after cesarean, I believe that I do need to be a little more intentional, though still keep that flexible mindset, but I do need to be a little more intentional with my birth plan or birth wishes, whatever you want to call it. I just want to make sure that my wishes are communicated very clearly to my provider and to my hospital team, like the nurses and the staff. And so that will entail being a little more vocal, like in the moment, and having things written down, maybe in a little more detail, but you don't want to go too detailed because, you know, you don't want it to be very cumbersome for your staff. The ultimate goal is to have a healthy and safe birth. And, you know, if that means having a C-section in the end, then that's what it means. But chances are that a VBAC will work out just fine. But I need to be prepared to advocate for myself in that situation. All right, so those are the 6 things that I'm doing differently in my second pregnancy. Overall, I guess I can use this opportunity at the end to just kind of give a small update. Things have been going along, just chugging along as normal. Like I said, I'm almost 24 weeks. My next prenatal appointment will be in, I think, a little less than 2 weeks. And I believe I will be having my glucose test then, you know, the initial 1-hour test. If you want to see my most recent pregnancy update before this, I did one at 20 weeks and did our gender reveal, which you can find in the cards. Since then, not really much has changed as far as symptoms go. I have last week experienced a little bit of lower back pain that I attributed to just getting larger and being pregnant and being on my feet a lot. So because of that, I've like tried to sit down more. I have a standing desk, but I haven't really been using it as much just because it tends to make me tired. And I'm like, when Max is sleeping and I want to do work, I probably should sit down instead of standing, because when he wakes up, it's going to be go, go, go. I can't really think of anything else. It's about 2 months until we move to Kansas. And I do intend to do a video about that and maybe do a few like series of videos on moving while pregnant, doing a military move, doing a partial ditty move, which is where you partially move some of your stuff yourself, do it yourself. So that's all I have for this video. Again, make sure to subscribe if you are not, because I will have more videos coming out. I've been doing one per week, which is plenty for now. I would love to be producing 2 a week eventually. Yeah, stay tuned for more videos on moving, doing homesteading stuff as a military family, pregnancy stuff. So I appreciate you guys stopping by and clicking on this video. And in the meantime, take care, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.